Another day in America. A sad one because I heard about James Van Der Beek. Colorectal. That's a horrible way to go, man. Horrible way. I titled this particular podcast Secrets of Dawson's Crack because I want to talk about the metaphysical of what happened to this man. Because people in Hollywood, they're going to spin it as, this is a tragedy, this is a loss for us because we've lost one of our greatest actors. I want to say this was preventable. This was preventable. Early detection can save your life. Early detection can save your life. This man decided to be an actor. So he's put under stress, he's put under long hours, and he also has to be, sorry, I cannot say that word. He also has to be in tip top shape. Now, he may be a vegan. I really doubt he was a vegan. He probably ate meat. Probably ate meat. Probably ate red meat. Probably enjoyed things like bacon, burgers, steaks, a lot of chicken. And you might say to yourself, well, what's wrong with that, man? It's food. What's wrong with food? Everything is wrong with food. Everything they tell you about food is wrong. People do not understand because they're not hunters, because they're just sheep that go into a supermarket or go into a fast food restaurant and say, give me something. So all they know is grayish or white brown meat. They don't know that that food was alive. That food was alive. You're eating life. You may not understand it. You may not understand it, but take a second. Take a second, because this colorectal cancer that affected James Van Der Beek is because most likely, now I don't have his medical records in front of me, so this is a theory, but you ate and you are what you eat, literally. When you take in the flesh of another animal, you make chew. Make chew. It may be processed, it may be heated, and you can denature that protein, you can break it down, you can strip it down to amino acids. You just don't do it enough. When your mother tells you chew your food, you shrug it off. You shrug it off. You're like, what the fuck? What the fuck? It tastes good, it goes down the throat. That's all. You don't say, if I don't mass the fuck out of this, that shit is going to travel through my digestive tract and it's not going to be processed. It's not going to be broken down by the acid in my stomach. It's not going to be broken down by the bile in my intestines. It's just going to fucking sit there. It's going to sit there and it's just going to decay. People don't understand when you take a poo, what comes out of you is just what they could push out, what your intestine can push out. These are your fucking employees. You can't fuck off right now. Fuck off. Go over there for a second. Okay. These are not just organs in your body. They work for you. So when you give them shit to work with, when you give them processed meat, it can only say, well, I can remove as much as I can push out. And by the way, you're not drinking enough water. So here he is. He's older. I'm older. So I can tell you things that they're not going to fucking talk about on the media. But since he's older, he had to live through the mad cow era of meat. He had to live through that. You know, if you're at a certain age, you live through that. Right now, you're living in luxury because everyone is trying to treat animals humanely. Well, at least a little bit nicer than telling my service animals not to interrupt a podcast. But yeah, you have to treat animals humanely now. But during the height of Dawson's Creek, the height of Dawson's Creek, that man was on set during a time period where people would feed animals to other animals. They would just say, well, I mean, I want protein from this animal, and you know, chicken is protein. I got some extra chicken. I didn't really clear it with anybody. I'm gonna chop it up. I'm gonna put it in its little grain and corn mix, and I'm gonna, you know, make sure that that motherfucker eats as some extra protein. And they would sneak around your back. They would sneak around your back because you never asked any questions. And they would say, "Yeah, you know, this is high quality meat." Well, you know, was it recycled through another animal? And they would, you know, shrug. They wouldn't care. And he would be on set. I'm like I said, this is conjecture. I'm doing a lot of theorizing here, but I have to talk about this because no one else will. This is one of those things that, you know, Hollywood wants to talk about the tragedy. I want to talk about the science of it and the metaphysics and the metaphysics. So he would be on set, he'd get craft services, and you know, he would probably say, well, you know, I'm the lead of this show. I've got to eat a high protein diet. I've got to, you know, keep working out. I've got to have, I mean, they're gonna take my shirt off in this scene. I'm a high school student, wink wink, wink wink. I'm a high school student, but I gotta get my shirt off every fucking scene. So, you know, I gotta be fit. I gotta be fit. I can't be fat. So I'm gonna eat a lot of protein. And they would get food catered from fancy places, but they never asked any questions. When you're on set, when you're an actor, they just say, work, work. Keep working, keep going. Another set, another scene, another scene. No. We didn't get it that time. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And for hours and hours and hours, you're just stuck on set, barely getting to use the bathroom, forget drinking any water whatsoever, and you just eat what's in front of you because you know you're starving and you can't leave. So he most likely, because I'm thinking about the timing of it, he most likely ate meat during this time period. Now, if his family wants to do an investigation into it, they should. They absolutely should, because this is a large issue. What happens to men who go through things like colorectal cancer? There's a lot of shame involved. There's a lot of you know, I don't want to get involved in that. I don't know what goes on back there. I close my eyes. You know, I don't care. I care about maybe putting food in my stomach. I don't care about asking questions about where it comes from or what it does to my body. And this is the result. This is absolutely the result. I wish that there was a nicer way to go about it than to do a podcast about colorectal cancer, but we've come to a point in our lives where the FDA just doesn't give a shit. It doesn't give a shit because it didn't put out a warning then, and it doesn't understand the ramifications of what happened afterwards. Because yeah, there were animals that walk around with mad cow's disease, but there are also humans who ate that didn't get mad cow's disease, but they got some really funky proteins, some radical proteins. You know what a prion is? Because I don't think that the people in the media are talking about prions, or they're talking about, hey, when you eat meat and you don't eliminate it, you don't fucking shit that goddamn meat out. It sits in your gut. You have rotting meat in your gut. People tell you to eat vegetables. They tell you to eat fiber. Nobody listens. Nobody listens. And there's a lot of people who say, "Well, our ancestors didn't have, Paleolithic nutritionists. They ate meat. Yeah, they ate meat, but they ate meat with soup. They ate meat with water. They cooked it and then they ran for like a day eating berries, eating fruit. They would eat fruit. They would like go from bush to bush and say, "Well, that's edible. I'm gonna eat it." And that's not so edible, so I'm gonna, really shit a lot. But they got it out. They got it out. And for some reason, we think we're above that. We think we're above adding nutrition to our diets. Ninja! Hi, Ninja! Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the revolution. I am talking about colorectal cancer. I have to, because it's one of those subjects that if you go to medical school, they're supposed to tell you, okay, well, talk to your patients, inform them of the risk, inform them of the rights to screenings, their rights to nutritionists, their right to ask questions. We don't talk about how America's people are dehydrated. We don't talk about it. Ninja Fizz, I'm your giggest fan. You came at the right time. You came at the right time. James Van Der Beek is no longer with us because he was unable, for whatever reason, to get an early screening. To get an early screening and to be informed of the risks of consuming meat. If he was a vegan, great, great. But it's colorectal cancer. Something tells me that he ate meat. Meat is not the worst thing in the world to consume, but you have to treat it with respect and reverence. We don't have a relationship to animals. We don't. We don't understand them. We don't talk to them. We have a lot going on in our lives. We don't live like animals. We don't try to. Hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm upset. I'm upset. I mean, look, I grew up on that show. I grew up on that show, and the man is brave enough to tell everyone that he had colorectal cancer and that he was going through what he was going through. And here I am. I have to get on a podcast and talk about you need to inform people what happens when you eat meat. You need to inform people that the American diet is so far removed from who we should be. We should be people who are constantly hydrated. We should be people who eat fibrous vegetables at all times. At all times. People skip the lettuce. They skip cabbage. They skip mustard greens. They skip collard greens. They skip watermelon. They skip anything that has either water in it or or fiber. So, how the hell are you going to remove rotting flesh from inside you? Hmm? Think about that. As a man who eats meat on occasion, especially, when I'm trying to bulk up, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'll admit it. But this is a podcast of fear because this could happen to anyone. And these doctors are just of the mindset, well, if you get cancer, you get cancer. We don't have cures. We don't have aggressive techniques to remove it from you. We don't have early detection, even though I'm telling them, look, let me go to a medical college if I didn't have PTSD. If I didn't have PTSD, but I really do want medical backing because you could do early detection. Everything has a signature, especially cancerous cells. Cancerous cells do not have the same ID tag as a regular cell, which is why most of the time your body just eats the cancer. It consumes it and that's that. But sometimes it misreads the signals, or sometimes you just don't have an immune system and you don't even know. Yet another thing that we don't talk about. We don't talk about the human immune system enough. We don't. We talk about your skin. We talk about your bones. We don't talk about the immune system. The immune system that, if functioning properly, would have been able to do the rounds of your entire body and scan it for cancer. You have an immune system specifically for that. But that didn't happen here. It did. And we have a huge tragedy. A man's dead because of this. Now, I tried to stick to the science part as much as I could to appease people who still follow Western medicine. Now, the metaphysical part. When you eat animals, when you eat life, you can crush it, you can, gnash it, you can tear it apart, but its spirit, its soul still lives on. Those cells are not dead. I like to think that they're in a mostly inert state, but the key word is mostly. Those cells are still active, which is why in some cases, you can bring those cells back to life. And that's what happens inside you. Rogue cells of things that you fucking ate just going about, and you don't know. You say, "Oh, I ate that burger," and I mean, I guess I shat something, a couple hours later. I guess that's the end of it. It's like dun dun dun. No, 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 no. That's the beginning of a story of what's going on in your colorectal system. That food lives on. That food lives on inside you, and it rots you from the inside. The chemicals that they put in it, the food dyes that they give for the color, that's in there. Everything that you eat is never cleaned properly. It's never fucking cleaned properly. It's filled with chemicals. It's filled with all this gunk that you don't remove from your system. So, what do you expect it to do? Where do you expect it to go? It goes straight into the walls of your intestines. The meat that you eat that doesn't get shit out, all the chemicals that are in it, all the extra stuff that they add in it, the salt, the preservatives, because why would you eat something fresh? That's another thing that we probably should think about. Why would you eat fresh food? You don't eat fresh food. It's not rotting right in front of you, but it rots inside you because you don't eliminate it. You don't shit it out. So it goes directly into the walls of your intestine. That life, that thing. and all the extra stuff that you put in it changes the chemical composition of your intestines. It changes its ability to absorb nutrients, to have blood flow through it. And so your body tries to compensate. It does. It says, well, if I can't reach the bloodstream in order to flush out these chemicals, I guess I have to grow a little bit larger. So it takes a little bit more of the nutrients. It takes on a bit of a consciousness. That's the one thing that doctors never tell you. They never tell you that, do they? They never explain that every little fucking cancerous cell is no longer you. It's your enemy. It's your enemy. So it's inside you and you're growing this thing. But most men don't want to go to a doctor over it. They don't. They would rather they would rather suffer in silence, suffer and say, "Oh man, that was a rough shit. That was really rough. I don't feel good." I mean, if I was a dog, I would like fucking scoot on the carpet and just like, just I couldn't get it all out. I couldn't get it all out. But they laugh about it. They laugh about it because the truth is scary. The truth is scary when you have a bad poo, when you have meat rotting inside you and you can't get it out. It hurts, it itches, and you don't go to the doctor over it. You just say to yourself, I don't care. I don't care what happens to me. I don't care about who I leave behind. I don't care about any of it. I don't care about my health. And so men ignore things like that. They ignore the warning signs that they need to go to a doctor. They need to go to a doctor. This is the reason why I want to be the West Coast version of Surgeon General, because Western medicine does many things it does not. Oh, yeah. Hi, Paul. Mm. Western medicine does many things it does not explain how the human body works to patients. So people go about their days in ignorance, absolute ignorance. You know for a fact that chickens grow from chicks that came from eggs. You know that beef come from cows that come from calves, and there's life there. You know those things are alive, but you don't know what that means. You don't know what it means to take the flesh of another thing and put it inside you. You don't. People get colorectal cancer for several reasons. The idea that the food that you eat is rotting inside of you never fucking gets into your head. Let James Van Der Beek's legacy be of many things, but maybe let it be that it was a wake up call to all men or women, even children, to question what food does to your body. I can go on and on and on and on about this, and I have to, because nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about when you're poor or even when you're rich. An education can save your life. An education can change your life. Everybody wants to be in Hollywood, everybody wants to be an actor. They don't understand the amount of stress and malnutrition that goes into that kind of business. Same for being a musician. Musicians go on tour, they have to do press, they have to maintain a certain level of, I guess, fuckability. which is not a word. Attractiveness. So they take shortcuts. They do this, or they eat a meal, and they don't drink anything with it, or they drink heavily. We- Nutrition is difficult. That's all I can say. Nutrition is difficult, but it doesn't help that people drink. It doesn't help that people do drugs. This was an era when, I'm talking about the Dawson's Creek time. This was an era when Hollywood was, well, we need to keep you up, we need to keep you fit. Please take this pill. Please take, this, snort that, go to this party. I'm not saying this happened in that particular case, but it's a fast-paced lifestyle. It's a super fucking fast-paced lifestyle. And you don't have time to slow down and say, no, I need to take a break. I need to take a poo. I need to go to see the doctor. I need to do a lot of this thing. No, it just never occurs to. Oh, I cannot speak English. I don't know why I even bother. But I still have to try, even though I'm terrible at language. I have to try and reach people and convince them to do their own homework, to investigate their lifestyle, because you're your only advocate. I advocate for people all the time. I advocate for public health. It's always something in my daddy beard. Hmm. I advocate for health. I advocate for health. I'm a public health advocate. I mean, here I am trying to leave for Canada because I just can't live here. I can't live in a country that dehydrated its people, that doesn't explain to them the effects of alcohol on your intestines, the effect of drugs on your intestines, the effect of prescription medication on your intestines, the effect of stress on your intestines, the effect of lack of sleep on your intestines. They don't explain any of that to people. Why? Because they want you to either work like a dog or get the fuck out the way. Now that's a shitty fucking attitude for someone as talented as James Van Der Beek. But James Van Der Beek didn't go to the doctor for early detection. He couldn't, because the technology is just not there. It's just not there. If there was one errant cell that was wrong, the doctors need to be able to detect that. And if they can't do that, then you need to fucking hire a medical engineer to fucking build something that can do that. I have to start a petition. I really do. Because I'm sick and tired of modern medicine not going the extra mile, not going toward the future. And the future is early detection to the point of one cell. If one cell is wrong, your doctor should be able to handle that. But then we have to go into, if you put good things in your body, you receive health. If you put bad things in your body, you become ill. I will forever miss James Van Der Beek of Dawson's Creek. I will forever miss him. I mean, the show is syndicated. It spawned several careers. But now these people are getting older. Now these people are suffering because of the long hours that they did to create a show for you. If you love these actors, if you love these actresses, You need to tell them to get tested. Just like the AIDS crisis, just like, COVID or something like that, testing is power. Knowledge is power. I like Michelle Williams. I do. I saw her on Cabaret. I saw her in Fosse. I saw her in Brokeback Mountain. I love the entire cast. I love Joshua Jackson. I love Fringe, clearly. I know these people are hurting. I know that they are. But get tested. Get tested. Now is the time. If you don't want to share that information with your fans, that that's you. That's you. You live your private life. But still, if you love James Van Der Beek as I did, then you have to respect that he took his moments to explain what was going on with him medically so that you would say, hey, that, I'm human. That shit could fucking happen to me too. Be selfish for once and take a moment for yourself. Go to the doctor, get tested. Everyone should. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of modern medicine. I think it's mostly bullshit because, as I say, if you put good things in your body, you have health. If you put bad things in your body, you get ill. You become very ill. And it doesn't matter if you have a little bit of money or you have a lot of money. If you make poor decisions with your nutrition, if you are unlucky to have a family history of that kind of thing, you have to go to your doctor. You have to keep the dialogue open. You, look, I love to talk. Clearly, the sound of my own voice is appeasing to my ego. But early detection can save your life. Speak up for yourself. You have to go to your doctor. You have to ask a friend. Dude, I need you to look in there, or, you know, take a finger, do self rectal checks. People don't want to talk about fingering a bum hole, but you need to know. You need to know. People talk about hemorrhoids. People talk about, oh, well, it just feels rough. Rough. Go see a doctor. Go see a doctor. When was the last time you just had fiber in your diet? Especially when you're older. Especially when you're older. People don't understand this. Why do I have to do a podcast about the human body? I don't know. It's my lot in life to forever be a champion of the people. When you're older, you're less active. Mostly because you just say, oh, fuck it to everything. You look at your life like I did, and you say, I spent a lot of time and money in bars and clubs, dancing, enjoying, laughing, and just mostly upset and miserable because I wasn't getting laid. But all of that just contributes to your health or your illness because all that alcohol just sits in your gut and your body can handle it. The best way I can put it is you're putting acid, you're putting corrosive materials into your body. Your body can't process it. It really can't. So it changes your intestines. It changes your intestines. And then you're not that active. People talk about, give a dog a walk. Give a dog a walk. Humans need to walk too. Humans need to be upright. We sit, we sit in cubicles, we We sit in chairs. We don't allow gravity. We don't allow peristalsis to occur. So, hold on. Thank you so much, Air Force, for sexually abusing me. So instead of going into medical school, I do a podcast about colorectal cancer. Hold on. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that message. Mhm. Just 1 second. All right. So you eat food. Food goes in your mouth, down your throat. But then what happens to it? Now, if you're one of those 9 to 5 drones, you most likely ate on your lunch break, and then the lunch break is over. You head back to your cubicle, you head to your chair, you sit down, and the food just gets stuck. It gets stuck in your stomach. Now, normally that is okay because your body still has to break it down and has to strip the proteins from the meat. You know, you got that peptic acid for that reason. Human help. Are you living in LA again? I live on the West Coast, and when you live on the West Coast, it doesn't matter if you live in Los Angeles or not. That thing that is LA is all throughout the West Coast. I have more Hollywood magic moments because I refuse to leave the West Coast. Because when you're on the West Coast, they just, I swear, they hire daytime actors to just bullshit in front of you because no one behaves this way in real life. But back to what I was talking about with the idea that the human body needs a wake up call. So you're on the clock, you got food in your stomach, and your boss is watching you. You got deadlines, you got presentations to make, you got all this fucking pressure. So you just sit, you sit hunched over, you sit, and you don't drink any water. You don't drink any water, and that food just stays there. It's supposed to exit your stomach and go into your intestines, but it can't reach it. It can't reach it because you're fucking folded in half. All your doctors in the world, and they don't tell people, you know, your food actually has to go down. Food goes down. If you say it like you're speaking to a child, maybe they would understand that. A lot of actors, they eat a meal and then they have to do table reads. They have to sit in front of a camera on a network show advertising that they have a show. They have to do photo shoots and interviews and just blah 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 blah. But basically they're just fucking folded in half. They spend most of their life folded in half. And all the food that they eat can't reach their intestines. So you're supposed to have intestines that are working for you. They can't work for you because of that. The workday ends. The workday finally ends. But you're in a rush. You're in a rush because you say, okay, I've got to go all the way back to my house, my flat, my everything. And I have to eat another meal because now I'm hungry again. So what do? You get up, you leave your cubicle, you go directly to your car, you go directly to your bus, you go to the train. And what do you do again? You fold yourself in fucking half. You fold yourself in half and you don't allow the food to once again enter into your intestines properly. Properly. So by the time that you finally get back to your place, the place where it's safe to take a poo, that food is fucking festered inside you. It can't be removed. It can't be pushed out. You might shrug it off and say, well, fuck it. I don't need to take a poo. I can take a poo in the morning. I can take a poo tomorrow. And people don't understand. You're supposed to fucking take a poo every fucking day, every 2 days, every day, at least every day. Sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. It's supposed to be fucking messy. And oh my god, you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to fucking say that because you're trying to be something. You're trying to be something and be cool. You want to be cool instead of being healthy. Being healthy is having loose bowels sometimes. You know what loose bowels means? You've got water in your system. You got something in your septic tank. Big solid poos are fucking dangerous. Hard, hard poos are fucking dangerous. Go to see your doctor. Go to see your doctor. You need to have soft stool. Soft stool. Not too loose, not too hard. Somewhere in the middle. And you figure that out for your fucking self. But you better go see a doctor over it. Now, human help. I didn't realize that. I didn't know if he moved from LA to San Francisco. I did move from LA to San Francisco, and now I'm in Portland. And I'm not even really in Portland. I'm just floating around in the Pacific Northwest, mostly because I'm taking some time to examine life and the kind of life I want to live and the nutrition that I have, and just coming to this realization that I support a lot of things. I support these people that still live in America, but I just don't want to live like this. I don't want to live like this because it's so easy to fall into the American trap of dehydrated foods and meat that you don't question. It tastes good. Of course, it tastes good. It's salt. It's salt and it's hot and it smells good. I fantasize about just the meaty goodness that I used to eat. I still eat meat. I still do. And sometimes, yeah, I smell my poo afterwards, and I say, yeah, I've had way too much meat. That's what happens when you live a little bit more savage. You smell things, and oh, I got to make a difference. People don't want to do that. People don't want to do that. They think they're above smelling their own shit. They think they're above investigating it and saying, "Oh, well, I need to drink more. I need to eat more fiber." They don't want to do that because that's uncool. It's uncool to be savage. It's uncool to live your life a little bit more traditionally. Because this modern way of thinking, this modern way of living is it's an early road to the grave. It's an early road to the grave because you don't ask any questions. They hand you dehydrated meat that may or may not be cooked properly, and your body can process it. And then they tell you things like, "Oh, do you want ketchup? Do you want mustard? Do you want mayonnaise? Do you want some hydration on top of it, but it's not hydration, it's just more chemicals that you put on top of things that you can't even process, and dangerous chemicals, and it tastes so good. It tastes so good to eat dangerous chemicals. And I got to bring it back to James Van Der Beek, because he lived in America. He suffered because of it. These are things that you have to file lawsuits over. You have to file lawsuits against the American Medical Association, because they're not doing enough. They are not doing enough. When your doctor tells you you've got cancer, it's devastating. Your whole life will change, but it doesn't have to be life ending. Knowing is power. Knowledge is power. Know what is going on in your body. Start asking some questions. I'm not going to make a lot of fans over something like this, but I have to say this. I have to, because no one else wants to. No one else does. After losing James Van Der Beek, I have to examine my continued relationship with meat. This is a reason to maybe go vegan or vegetarian. Those dehydrated meats. I'm sorry, you cooked it. It's a grayish mass, and you shove it in your face, and it tastes good because it's salt. Salt and chemicals. Do yourself a favor. Go get tested. Go get tested. Especially if you're a little bit older, because that's when this stuff happens. But these are things that didn't happen until we started changing our diet, changing the way that we live. Sure, I have PTSD, and I say to myself, I want to get out there. I want to do things. I'm in Portland, and I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. But that's kind of the way it has to be, because I don't want to be seduced by your American bullshit. I just don't, because I see what happens when you do. You see the advertisements, you hear the jingle, you salivate, ba da ba ba ba, and you are fucking salivating. You need it so badly, but your body says, I can't deal with this shit anymore. Wake up, people. Nothing against that company. No, I mean, obviously, I don't think I'll ever be a spokesperson, but I'm not saying that if I leave for Canada, it's going to be any different. But maybe, just maybe, there are people who think the same way that I do, that you put hydration back into your life and you have a longer life. Start looking at other countries that have long lives. They're not eating the things that we do. They don't allow the chemicals that we allow. There are people in Italy right now who are living until their hundreds. Not that you really want to, but they're eating. They're eating and they're enjoying life. They're not missing out. They eat tasty, tasty food, but that food doesn't hurt them. When food hurts you, you just say no. Stand up to these fucking bullies always trying to shove a fucking ad in your face to make you want their shitty fucking products. My name is Ian Ileana. I'm an environmentalist. I'm a human rights activist. I'm a werewolf. I'm a mutant superhero. And I guess I'm a medicine man instead of a doctor. I cannot say that I'm a doctor. I cannot say that I still aspire to be one, because these people let you down. They let down James Van Der Beek. Moment of silence for him. All right. Tomorrow, go about your day, but think about what you can do differently, how you could change, how you can save your life. Maybe an extra glass of water, maybe a little bit of fruit in the morning, a little something. Save your own life. I hope to see you on the next podcast.